Yes, I think for me, my experience on Silverton Siege was a phenomenal one. I've never played a lead character like this, and this magnitude of production, you know, working with a studio such as Netflix. So my experience coming into it was I didn't quite know what to expect, which I think is a wonderful place to be because you can only learn. And I learned an incredible amount working with amazing people like Mandla Dube, with Knox, with Thabo, and with the other actors on set as well. It was incredible to learn their processes and to learn how they interact with everyone. I think one of the biggest things that when I was done with Silverton, which it left me with, was the amount of care, love, and empathy that we had on set for one another, which I hope I can emulate when moving forward into my next production. And then one thing that stands out to me about Thabo, and I've never told him this, but was the way he carried the weight of being a lead. You know, there's always that you have to bear in mind is once you are lead, the rest of the cast always looks up to you. And Thabo carried that with so much grace, and that I'm carrying through to my next roles that I do, is to have his grace and elegance on set.
Oh, thank you, Steph. No one has ever called me graceful or elegant, so thanks. Oh man, thank you, Steph. That was really beautiful. Hey, Lillian, it's such a pleasure to meet you. Just to answer your question, going into it, one thing about Mandla Dube is that he's always putting together incredible human beings that reflect his heart and soul onto like a page, into a set, and everybody on the set generally has good, kind, positive energy. And that's the first thing that I was excited about. And then he's always introducing me to incredible actors through the phenomenal casting director, that's Bonnie Lee Bowman. I met Stefan, I met Knox. I'm in love with both of them equally. You know, they're just such beautiful people, and we've gone through such a journey together. I feel like we're friends. And I think that's what I'd probably leave with, is having great relationships with them, with the likes of Shane, with Michelle. You know, there's so many great actors who are in that room that really gave us everything. And I'm just so excited. You know, Elani was amazing. So yeah, that's what we left with.
The character of Aldo is incredibly, he's an MK soldier. So it's incredibly physical. There's a lot of physicality that came with it. And we trained with amazing individuals, special forces. And what was very interesting for me in the beginning is I'm not an exercise man. I try and stay away from it, you know, until it's like necessary, and then I'll go to the gym. But what Aldo I needed to wrap my head around was how much training we actually needed to do for the role. We did, I think, a month-long training session. And then while we were also shooting, we were still training. We had weights backstage, and we were still trying to get that physicality, because we have to be able to present, you know, in a still frame that these are soldiers, that they have been training for years and years. And that was the biggest hurdle for me. And the most challenging thing was getting into that physical space. But luckily, Knox is an amazing physical performer, so I just leached off of some of her energy as well for each of the scenes.
You know, I'm always drawn to sort of characters that tell stories about the African journey. I think it's so important that Africans realize the power and propaganda of film and art and music, that our true heritage and our story will always be carried by our storytellers. That's always been the African way. It always will be the African way. And I think to celebrate our heroes, from whether it's here in Johannesburg or in Accra or in Lagos or wherever, to celebrate the people who've moved and shaped the continent, will always remind us that we have an example of excellence, an example of revolution, an example of pride, and sometimes an example of how we can also be bad and dark to each other. And as long as we have those examples, we'll know to either not go back there or to always go there and even go further. So that was important to me. Personally, it's always to don't just make sweeping decisions for people. You know, it doesn't matter who you are. Really understand people and realize they're also their own entities. They're their own people. I think big decisions that affect an entire people need to be had together. Doesn't matter whether or not you're a leader. A true leader is just someone who listens. Sit down with the people. You know, it's like, it's crazy that maybe a Minister of Education's children go to a public school. I mean, to a private school. They should go to a public school so that they're in that environment and they can hear the people's needs constantly. And that's the same with health. And I realize that a true leader must be within the people, must live with the people and hear them for them to actually to make good decisions.
For me, it was always, spending time with Knox and Thabo. The amount of just shenanigans we caught on between scenes kept me motivated throughout the entire shooting day. Sometimes we had long shooting days, 12 hours, but then knowing that my fellow co-stars were there and we were going through the same thing, we were going through the same physical endurance and stress that we were under, and knowing that they were there and they were doing it with a smile, put a smile on my face. So I'm very grateful for not just them, but the entire cast as well. The entire cast, they were all so giving and caring when it came to the in-between scene moments. That's really what keeps us, being able to perform.
We never wanted to be apart from each other. I think after almost every night, and I shouldn't say this, we all went for tequilas like almost every night as a crew, because we just wanted to hang and chill with each other. It was such a great energy. And also we get to run around, shoot guns, drive. Like we're in like this one room, we're working out the whole day. We're children getting to play, but also do something important. It was just amazing. It's a great experience and I'm always thankful for it.
I think that for me, the one thing that I hope that all audience members, when they watch this, the takeaway is the fight for freedom. I hope that within the communities and within the family structures that they operate in, is that they begin to discuss what does freedom mean to them and what does freedom look like. Because it is my belief that I think that freedom is not a right, it's a responsibility that we need to uphold. And that responsibility needs to be carried through in our aspects and our interactions with other people on a daily basis. So I hope that they begin to find out what does freedom mean for me and what does freedom mean for you.
People to take away this, that we Africans are excellent, we're brilliant. And when we come together, there's nothing we can't do. There's no standard too high for us. I think this movie is an example of African excellence. It was shot by Africans, for Africans, and for the world, and look at how amazing it is. And in the story itself, it shows togetherness is the only way that they actually get out of the situation. If they do get out of the situation, it's just coming to terms with how brilliant we are. Like, we're such a great people. And we must always remember that. We must always strive for excellence. We should be the innovators in film and art and science and everything. And I hope this little offering we have is a symbol of that.
What's the price of freedom?
I don't know.
Everything.